Hi. Thanks for the introduction, and really sorry I had to cancel this session earlier. I had a family emergency. So yeah, a bit info about me. I am Rivu Chakraborty. I am originally from India, currently based in Bangalore, and I am a product engineer at Gojek. I am a GDE for Kotlin, became last year only, and I am an author, speaker, and community person. So today we are gonna talk about migrating to Compose, and we are not gonna just take a demo app and migrate it to Compose because that you can find a lot of examples of, right? So we are gonna talk about what are the main difficulties about migrating a production app to Compose, and these are the topics we are gonna discuss. So first thing is Compose ready for production. So when I first created this presentation, Compose was yet to be production ready or yet to release the stable release. So I had to edit the presentation a little bit. So yeah, right now the latest stable release is 1.0.1, and they have already started working on 1.1.0. So you can say Compose is pretty stable. However, and these all apps are already using Compose, and I got that data from the link below. So Google says that Twitter, Airbnb, Monzo, and Google Play Store even uses Compose. So yeah, uh, Compose is production ready. One thing I hear about talking about production ready is that hey, APIs are changing a lot, right? And yes, to be honest, APIs are changing, and I am watching Compose since its primary announcement, right? Since then, Compose has came a long time, and it's really stable now as compared to before. And APIs are still changing, but to be honest, it happens with all other platforms and all other things, right? For example, XML is also still XML APIs are also still changing. If you talk about constraint layout or motion layout, new functionalities are being released for them, and those APIs for XML as well are still changing. So yeah. Uh, Next thing, why should we care about Compose? It's very easy to answer from a developer's perspective, right? First thing is that you will be writing better and debuggable functional UI code. So yeah, and next thing is you will be able to properly utilize reactive patterns throughout the app. Now, what do I mean by completely utilize reactive patterns throughout the app? If you talk about web, right? If you talk about React or any other web platform, those are completely reactive, right? Till UI even. Now, when you talk about Android, what happens with Android? Even if we use any reactive pattern, right? For example, if we use Redux pattern in Android, or if we use MVI, the most famous reactive pattern in Android, then also in the activity or in the view layer, you are still have to uh, add a lot of logic to actually get the state manually, and then put a when clause and or a lot of code in an imperative way, to be honest. So till the UI layer, it is not actually reactive with XML at our disposal. Yeah, some people will argue that yeah, it is possible with data binding. To be honest, yes, with data binding and library it is possible, but it further complicates a lot of things with data binding. But let's not go into there. With Compose, it makes really easy to adopt a complete reactive pattern throughout the app. Uh, yeah, your activity will look pretty clean. So I have a demo app, and I will show you to you later. So if you basically or if you have played with Compose a little bit, you will see that activity code is pretty much clean, or uh, it's basically just the Compose setup and just the business view model or presenter setup. All those setups codes mostly go with activity, and other than that, class is pretty much clean. You can go with single activity flow. So earlier with single activity, we would mostly use fragments, and fragment is pretty much uh, conflicting topic. So a lot of people love fragment, a lot of people don't love fragments, right? Or hate fragments. Uh, so with Compose, you can actually avoid fragments altogether. You can still use fragments if you want, but if you can divide the screens based on Compose functions only. So there are a lot of examples on that as well. And Yeah, with that, you're basically you will have separation of concern, as well as you will have a single activity. You don't have to think about the word of multiple activities and all those. And yeah, you can Compose is interoperable with views, so it's not mandatory for you to rewrite the entire app with Compose, and even I won't recommend that. So later we are going to talk about how should we plan about getting to Compose. So I won't recommend anyone to basically rewrite their entire app in Compose in one go. Uh, Unless the app is just a one or two screen app, then it might be okay. But otherwise, for any middle to complex size apps, I won't recommend that. So yeah, interoperability comes to a great play here. Now, from the product or engineering manager's perspective, right? So the more base thing I like about Compose is that you can put a debug point, or you can put logs in the composable functions. And if you put logs, those logs will be printed every time the function is recomposed, right? Every time that particular composable block is recomposed. So that actually lets you debug the whole UI logic pretty much easily. That was earlier not possible with XML. You may argue that with XML it was not required, but to be honest, with XML as well, we often felt that hey, this is not working, or hey, this block is not displaying. At that time, we mostly use layout inspector and to find out what's happening and what's not happening. But with at that time, sometimes I wish that if UI logic was also debuggable, so that's possible with Compose. Uh, yeah, so that's a probability. Uh, like with Compose, with declarative code, you won't need much time in fixing that those 5DP things. Server-driven UI. So there's a lot of hype after Swift UI was announced on server-driven UI, and server-driven UI. It's still I won't say it's not possible with XML as well, but with XML you will have to do a lot of things on your own. With Compose, things becomes more easier. And also, like with Compose, integration with Figma and all those tools are also easier. So your designer can design your screen, and then they can directly export it to Compose blocks, and you can just copy and paste it. And while like setting up Figma for Compose, you can basically declare your custom composable functions instead of text or all those things. And again, it's the same point from the developer perspective, that it can be an incremental migration. It doesn't need to be a whole complete migration in one go. So that actually allows you having more time at hand, focusing on the business as well, and slowly on some companies do invest separately on business logic and on business initiatives and engineering initiatives. So if your organization does that, then you can plan it accordingly. and without hampering your business initiatives. Another thing that's not yet there yet. So with Compose for desktop and web now in alpha, we are hoping that near future alpha or RC, I might be wrong, it might be in RC, sorry. Yeah, in near future, coupled with KMM, Compose can be a good bet against cross-platform frameworks. Now, I am not putting Compose against cross-platform frameworks. I am just giving it as a might have another option. So with KMM, we can write business logic and put it on every multiple platforms, right? uh, we can reuse the business logic on multiple platforms, but we still have to write UI separately. With Compose as well, you will have to write UI separately. But still, most of the Compose code can be reused. So there will be some uh, some similarity between your web code and Android code. So yeah, it will be in a like better situation. So you can utilize KMM in a more better way. Now, is Compose right for us? So every team has this question, right? Short answer is yes. Compose is pretty much stable, and eventually you will have to migrate to Compose. So why not, right? Yeah, short answer is obviously yes. Broad answer is it depends, because let me explain that. If you're currently using an architecture that's not state based, right? That's say MVP without any maintaining state, so or MVVM as well, where you are not maintaining a state, and you are just calling functions and you are receiving callbacks, and although then it might take a bigger effort for you to migrate to Compose. That's the first thing. Second thing is that if you're with Compose, your team has to re-educate themselves throughout the whole process, right? They We have to learn about managing states in Compose, about how recomposition works. It's like there is a learning curve. I won't lie, there is a learning curve for Compose, coming from an imperative background, or coming to how we used to do Android for all these years. Moving to Compose, there will be a learning curve. So if your team has not already invested on it, or if your team is not ready, then probably you can take some time. You can basically first move to a state-based architecture, and then you can plan along for Compose. So yeah. Now, how should we plan moving to Compose, right? So general suggestion I would give is what I already said. That first move to a state-based architecture, and then start migration atomically, screen by screen. What do we mean by that is, see, with Compose, there are a lot of state management required by yourself. So what happens with XML is that, for example, when you are working with a text view, edit text, right? In XML, you don't have to maintain that what user has entered in the edit text. You can maintain it on yourself, but you don't have to. In Compose, whatever user enters, you have to maintain it in a state by yourself. So you have to be aware about the state of the particular uh, edit text. Similar to that, how do you reflect the changes in Compose? How it works is that whenever some of your data has changed, or probably you have made a API. First, it was in a loading state, so your state will be loading. You have made an API call, data came back. You will update the state, and that will reactively update the UI. So that's how Compose works. So you will need a state. So there are multiple ways you can manage the state. You can have a seal class and manage it yeah, with basically separate states for each of the sections of the UI. And you can also have a data class and centrally manage that. It completely depends on your business requirement and the complexity of your app. uh, but yeah, state management is a big part of Compose. So if you are not already in a state-based architecture, before moving to Compose, I would suggest you to actually move to a state-based architecture first, and then start migrating Compose atomically, screen by screen. Yeah. So lot of if you are a bit like mature app, then you will probably have your own design system, right? So instead of text view, you use custom text view. Instead of button, you use custom button, where you put your design system, basic design system in there, so that probably all your buttons have similar colors, right? Similar background colors. So you will have my primary button, right? So basically a lot of companies has that. So the challenge they face is that how do we migrate to Compose without design system still in the views. So we can do it in uh, both ways. So I would suggest that we can start uh, replacing views with Compose on the design system part. So the team that works on the design system can start working on Compose. They can start with the simplest views, for example, custom text view, and then custom button, and then slowly move forward. And from the product engineers as well, they can start in a screen, like instead of starting to build the screen with XML, they can start with building the screen with Compose and import the views. And that way basically once the design system is fully migrated to Compose, it will be all Compose, right? So both can with we can take the basically benefit of interoperability, and we can do that. One thing to note here is that with Compose, you have to generate a view class. Like when you are using a view class from Compose, it's no big deal. It's easy to do. But when you are basically want to use a compose from view class, in the compose function, you have to use an annotation which will generate the view class for you. So yeah, like keep in mind to use that annotation, and then it will be easier for you. Yeah. So Uh, another problem I often faced about or I've often heard about Compose is that some people come and say that, hey, I have a 4,000 line view class, right? And first thing is that you probably should not have that. But if you have a 4,000 lines view class, then you can probably follow these guidelines. And basically you can keep that like your all your classes should will obviously not be 4,000 lines, right? All your view custom view classes and all your XML files won't be a 4,000 lines view class. So you can start with the rest and keep that class. You will probably have one or two max to max two of these classes. So you can keep those classes as the last item to migrate. And then you can basically, I would suggest breaking down and, if possible, creating separate classes from for them, and write unit test if possible, and UI test mandatory because it's view class, so it's pretty much dependent on the UI, I am assuming. And then rewrite it in Compose and run the test cases. So when you are migrating Compose, you can write proper unit test cases. with Android view system as well, custom view classes as well, it is possible to write unit test cases, but there are a lot of complications involved. So probably like if you haven't structured it well, your view class probably can't have unit test cases. Yeah, if possibly you should write unit test cases. Otherwise, UI test cases is mandatory. And once you have migrated to Compose, then run the test cases, and you will be it will be easier for you to know that whether all the logic that was in the view class were migrated or not. Yeah. Now we'll go to an application I am maintaining over GitHub, and we'll see how state management works and what I generally do. Uh, So as you can see, let me just close all others. What's happening? Okay, I think Android Studio just died. No, take. Okay, thank God. Yeah, I hope this is visible for you. So I am having a view model, and here I am following MVI, but ignore that part. And if I hadn't mentioned, you probably not know as well. So yeah, here I am having a view model, and I am having live data. So I have a center state. So I am having a data class that holds all the states. So let me show you that. So, yes, as you can see here, I have a center. So this app is a single screen app, and I will share the link of the app at the end of the presentation. So here basically you can search movies. So it has only a single state class. I'm not using silk classes for this, but and it's perfectly fine if you are having a small screen like this, right? Uh, so it has two screens. One is the search screen or search results screen, and another one is the movie details screen. And I'm maintaining the state with this. So if detail is not is equal to null, then we are going to the mobile details screen. Otherwise, we'll be showing the list of movies here. And if this is also blank, then I'll be it based on if it is loading or not. I will show the respective content. And yeah, so this is basically a simple state class, data class, and I am observing it via live data here, and I am passing that live data to here. And I have added this only for logging purposes. So whenever there is, say, state update, I am logging it. But other than that, it is basically being observed in the movie screen. Now, movie screen is a composable screen. So let me tell you, I am in the middle of updating it from Compose RC release to product stability release. So due to a lot of things happening, I was not able to do that. But yeah, I am in the process. So yeah, this is the movie screen, and here I am getting the central live data, and basically here I have lots of logic to determine that what's happening, what should be the state, and I'm showing that particular view. So there are multiple options. So there can be, if it is in detail state, I will show movie details. If it is basically search state, I will show search. Otherwise, I will show the movie list. And let me go to the test cases so you will know. So let's go to Android test, and here are the test cases. So as you can see here, that we are mocking our view model, and or rather live data, and then we are passing that mock live data to our test cases. So it becomes a lot of easier to write unit test cases. For example, in current, I'm assuming if you are using Espresso currently, then what we'll have to do is that you will have to basically uh, use mock web server, and we it's what we write currently is not only UI test cases, it's a complete end-to-end test cases in Android. We test the entire end-to-end flow in Android when we are writing Espresso test cases, because we are testing the screen, we are clicking the button, and in the click of button, we are not mocking the view model or any other dependencies the activity has in the common practice. We are basically going it all through the way to database or API calls, and there we are using in-memory database or uh, mock web server, right? I'm talking about the common practice. If you have a different setup, you would be really have like interested to hear about that. But the most common setup is that, or most common practice is that we do write end-to-end test cases in Espresso. Uh, Now it's good, always good to have end-to-end test cases, but sometimes we want to just test in separation or unit test the view, right? That's I won't say it's not possible, but that's very complex with Espresso. But with Jetpack Compose, it's pretty much easy. As you can see here, we are just mocking the live data that we have. So here I have only single live data or only single state representation. So I'm mocking only one. And if you have multiple, you can mock them as well. Or you can probably, if you are passing view model to your composable, you can mock view model as well. And once you mock them, you are just testing the UI separately. Here, as you can see, uh, I am testing the search action here. So when someone searches Jack, for example, I am putting a mock value from here, that this should be the initial mock value. And then when user performs this action, search icon dot perform click, then the next action mock value should be accordingly, right? So we are mocking everything, and based on that, we are testing the UI in separation. So yeah, and you can obviously write end-to-end test cases as well. It's your choice. Now it becomes a lot of easy to choose whether you want to write UI test cases as a unit test, or you want to write end-to-end test cases, and whether you want to do both. That's also your choice. So yeah, uh, and I wanted to show about this about the unit test cases, and other than that, it's pretty much this is. And yeah, now uh, since I talked about migrating to reactive architecture, I thought I would answer address this question as well. Do we really need a new architecture for using Compose? The short answer is no. So if you are happy with your current architecture, you don't need to change it to say if you are currently using MVP, you don't need to change it to MVI to use Compose. It's not a mandatory thing unless you need to. Unless you are not satisfied with your current architecture and you want to change it for Compose, you don't need to. But yes, you need to invest your time on state management. So even with MVP, you can have a central state class, and you can basically reflect, update the state, and based on that state update, you can basically update the view. So yeah, you will need time, like you will need to invest on your state management, and if you want to move to compose. Yeah, another thing I wanted to show you about the edit text. So here in this code, if you go to the start screen, yeah, I will close the preview because preview is not actually there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can see a text field, right? Now, if you notice here, we are having a state. So remember, this basically a way to create a stateful variable. So if this value is changed, then all the composables that are dependent on this variable will recompose. Now, what do I mean by recompose? It means just that this entire block will run again, and based on that, the UI will update. So here you can see that whenever user changes that value, you can see that on value change here. So whenever user changes the value, we have to update the type text. Otherwise, if you don't maintain the state in this way, user will keep typing on the text field or edit text, but it will show an empty to the user because uh, it will not recompose, the edit text will not recompose, and the value will not be there. So yeah, here you can see that on value change, we are updating the value and keeping it here. And here we are passing the value. So every time user writes something, we'll update the state, and update state will be shown here. Now, uh, I am maintaining the edit text state atomically. So this state doesn't go outside this composer function unless user taps on keyboard action, right? Unless user taps on the keyboard action, this state doesn't go outside this function. Now, it is basically a way of maintaining the state. So some people will prefer keeping the state in the central state class, or in some state class that is activity or view model is holding. And that's okay, totally okay. I am in personally in favor of managing state automatically whenever possible, and that's why I am managing it here. But if you want to keep put it on the data class, then that's also okay. But when you are doing that, you have to be cautious. Now, on that topic, we'll come back later. But yeah, you have to be cautious with state management as well with compose. As I said during the start of the talk, so there is a bit of learning curve in compose, so you'll have to be cautious. Now, what are the things to watch out for? First thing that I myself fail on was recursive recomposition. So what happens is that you are updating some state, and you have a composer function that is dependent on that state, and you are updating that state from inside the function. So that function, whenever recompose, will again update the value, and again it will recompose, and that recompose cycle will keep running and running and running. Uh, and yeah, obviously your app will crash eventually. So that can happen easily with compose. And that's easy to detect as well. You can just put logs to find out if recompose is happening or if a particular function is being composed multiple times. I will tell you where I did that. I did that here on in search screen. So earlier, what I was doing is that I was passing the type text as a state uh, from state variable from here, and then it was being modified at here, right? So what was happening was that every time user starts to type something, this particular function will decompose endlessly, and that was an issue. So yeah, and another thing we should try to avoid is that writing too much logic in the compass function. So currently, oftentimes we also end up with having too much logic in activity as well. And with compose, if we opt for the easiness, we'll say call say network to check network, and all those logics will end up in compose, but it's better to trying to avoid that. So only the state and view based logic should be in the compose. And as you can see here, this is only state and view based logic. And if I want to check that whether internet is there or not, then I will probably add a state for internet here, and or wherever I require, and I will manage that state. You can use live data, or you can use state flow, whatever you like. I will manage that state from the activity. We should try and keep the composable clean. Why? Because see, at the end of the day, it's the UI logic, right? So if you want to update the UI, right, and you don't want to change anything, say you just want to change the color from something to something else, then that should not affect some of your other UI-based logic code. For example, network is there or not, uh, and that's kind of a business logic, what I feel. And other than that, if you, for example, if you want to change in that, so earlier you had to check that whether internet was there or not, uh, but later on you don't need that. You don't. You can basically remove it from the activity, and you don't need to touch composable for it. For example, currently, when we remove those checks, we don't touch the XML, right? So developer tendencies that will try to end up writing a lot of code in compose, but we should try and avoid that. And that was all, to be honest. And these are some resources that I felt are really great. So here's my project that we were talking about, and here is a great article by Garima about missing piece to the MVI puzzle in on Jetpack Compose. And if you are if you want to learn about something in Compose or some particular uh, component of Compose, you can go to Compose Academy. It has a lot of resources. And lastly, I have bought this book uh, just after seeing his tweet. And I read this book last week or last weekend, to be honest. And I really like this book. So if you want to try out, I would definitely recommend this book. And Joe Birch is also coming up with another book, I believe. So yeah, uh, I have read the book by George, so it's really good. And yeah, now we'll take up the questions. So yeah,
Well, firstly, Rivu, thanks so much for this insightful talk and being with us here today. We will kick it over to the Q&A section now. We do have quite a few questions, and I'll let you take it away.
sure. So first question is that is the building process of UI really fast? I haven't tried Compose yet, but when I watched Florina's video about Compose, it feels wrong for me to build the application every time for the preview. So for the preview, you don't have to build the entire application, to be honest. Uh, so it automatically does it, and I think they are. So that is not currently pretty much stable in their preview, to be very honest. And I now, like I personally don't use previews uh, because I don't trust them with XML as well. But if you do trust them, then currently it is not much stable. So you will have to build sometimes, but most of the times it works. You don't have, if you are just updating the compose code, you don't have to build the entire application. There is a faster option for that. So yeah, but other than that, currently you have to sometimes you have to build the entire application. Is lazy column production ready? I find it really lagging even in 1.0 stable. Uh, so like I have checked lazy columns and I haven't found any issues, to be honest. Uh, and I have actually measured it. So when we were at Paytm, we were measuring things, but it also depends on your how we are managing the state. As I said, state management is most important thing in Compose. So it depends on how you manage the state. But yeah, we have measured it little bit, and so far we don't didn't find any much difference between recycler view and lazy column. Can you animate between two states? So I think I haven't tried that out, but I saw some tweet about it that you can set animate what we used to have in XML, right? Animate layout changes. So I think that is released in Compose with constraint layout, I guess. I haven't tried it out, but I think that is possible now. Can XML styles be used in composable somehow? Or we have to port over all the XML styles to compose and maintain both until everything is migrated. So currently, I'm afraid it is the latter case. You have to maintain the both of the styles, but yeah, I am expecting that they will release something for the styles. Uh, uh, but yeah, you can import colors and other resources, but for the styles, the structure is completely different between Compose and XML, and I am not aware of. There might be some way, but I am not yet aware of porting XML to Compose. So you will have to maintain both. Can composable components be used from Java? Well, composer components can be exported to views, and views can be used from Java. Uh, so although I haven't tried that, I would say yes, because you can export a composable as view. So yeah, I tried Compose and found it a bit slow to load. Is anybody else experienced it? To be honest, I haven't, as I said, there was a very little delta, but that was negligible. So while at Paytm Insider, we tried that out, but there was very little delta. So yeah, in multi-module app, we tried to convert one screen to compose. It was nice that everything was just Kotlin. But development took longer due to longer build time it takes to do preview. So as I said, I currently also don't use preview, and with composable it will take longer build time because you are not sure. Since with XML, what happens? You sure that whenever you write button and add some properties, it will end up exactly like that. But with compose, with me as well, it will take a bit more time because we are not yet used to that. But other than that, development will take time even if previews are there, right? You will have to be initially you will have to be more cautious about state and how to pass state, how to manage state and all those things. So yeah, initially development time will be larger. If the user can write in an input field, should that text be part of the state, and a new state will be emitted on every keystroke. So as I showed here in this particular start screen, right? What it's totally upon you that how you want to maintain the state of the edit text or text field here. So when you go here, you can see I am managing a particular state. So the edit text or text field won't emit any state for you. You will have to pass on a state variable to it, and you will have to manage it by yourself. So yeah, the control is totally on you that whether you want to want that particular state to be part of your central state class, or whether you want to create a new state variable and manage that accordingly. I personally prefer managing the state atomically. So I am managing it as a separate variable or a new state variable. Fresh project with Compose. When starting fresh project with Compose, which architecture is better to adopt, MVI or MVVM? Both are always both are good. Compose is not dependent on MVI or MVVM, and both works really well with Compose. The only thing you need to be sure of while migrating Compose is having a state-based architecture. So even with MVVM, we can do both. We can have a state-based architecture, or we can call view models and observe every live data. Every function returns a live data and observe that accordingly, right? Now that's not a state-based architecture. If all of your functions returns as separate live data and you are observing it, that can be a state as well. So yeah, if you are having state, then it's all right. But if you don't have states, right? If all your functions returns say live data, and that live data only returns when data is there, right? Then you are not if you are not managing state, then you will find difficulty migrating to Compose. So having state management separately is highly recommended. I can't find any information about animating list changes when adding or removing an item. uh, so animating list changes, I didn't get your questions, sorry. So are you talking about and so you can basically animate something on your own if you want, but other than that, I honestly didn't get your question. If you can like describe the question again, that will be really great. Have you tried simple animations with Compose? Yes, I have. And you can probably I have linked my GitHub project here, so you can probably check that GitHub project, and I have done very simple animations. I have also used Lottie, so works pretty well. Use key in lazy column because it helps the composition be smarter, right? So mm, yes, key helps decomposition be smarter. So what happens with lazy column? So let me show you. I'm not using key. Yeah, lazy vertical grid. Um, So lazy vertical grid is also same as lazy columns. Yeah, here I am just passing the items, right? Now, if you are having just the basically items and you are managing with that, then it's like if you are having a simple list, then it's not required to having a key. But if you want more control, right? For example, when we are using diffuted, uh, so with diffuted we get more control
Uh,
that.
Rivu, sorry to interrupt you. If you are trying to share something right now on your screen, we can't see your screen share.
Yeah, yeah, sorry, really sorry. So yeah, here you can, as you can see. So with I am not managing any particular key here because what I want is that it's basically a simple list of strings, to be honest. And whenever something is changed, I want the entire recycler view or lazy grid to reload. Now, if you are having, say, complex logic where you want to change, reload the list only on a particular scenario, uh, only probably when the ID is changed, right? Then you can use the key. And yeah, does navigation compose works with compose and framework? I haven't tried navigation yet, to be honest, so I can't answer that. Is the motion? Yes, motion layout is there in Jetpack Compose, and they are currently in alpha or beta, I believe, but they are in Jetpack Compose. And otherwise, yeah, if you are looking for alternative, you can animate constraint layout as well. But that's not obviously as good as motion layout. So motion layout is currently not yet production ready, if I remember correctly. But yes. Does Compose supports view stubs? It's pretty much easy to do. I can basically show you how to do. So you can basically create a view and create a basically a simple view and do it yourself. So I don't know if Compose have a composable function for view stub or not, but it's really, really easy to do. So yeah, as I am understand MVI is the we can use it in MVVM. Is STH. I am not able to get your question. We just, yeah, if you are saying that MVI is not mandatory with Compose, then yes, you are right. MVI is not mandatory with Compose, even though MVI suits really well with Compose, and I pretty much love it. But other than that, if you are not a fan of MVI, using MVI is not mandatory with Compose. So you can pretty much use any architecture, to be honest. Just make sure to use proper state management.